everybody, I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to be talking about the treasure spawn that just came out. Yes, I'm going to go back to Scar. Some of you might have seen my comment before. I kind of messed up on some things about Scar. I didn't mess up on his description. I messed up on my opinion. I made a huge brain fart, or I kind of like, it was a facepalm, honestly. It was a huge facepalm and how I was describing my thoughts on Scar. So I'm gonna redo that so you guys get a clear shot, picture of it. It says there's still 2 days left. There's still enough time to spawn. Definitely don't waste your time on this treasure spawn. No way. Treasure spawns are pay to win spawns, and this monster right here, not worth it. If it was in a step up spawn, I'd say go for it, but that's as far as I'm legitimately going. Like if it was 80, 100, 150 gems, like total to actually get the monster, I tell you go for it, but it's way too much. It's not even 150 gems. It might be like 400 to get her, or 300, but it's not going to be like 150. To be fairly honest, looking at her abilities, she's a good monster, but she's nowhere up there and under any circumstances, like whatsoever. She's a good monster to pop, but there are better monsters that you can use than her, honestly. Like pretty dang better monsters, and for her to be in a treasure spawn like this, it's just not worth it. That's like throwing a me throwing a treasure spawn, except making it 35 cost. I mean, 35 cost, but that's as far as it goes. Anyways, going from there, its ability power is 180 and it damages 4 times 100% of the time. That's pretty strong. It can hit hard. A little trick I just noticed recently, a lot of you probably already noticed this, but just in case you haven't noticed, a little trick I've noticed, just in case, I also don't bring this up on any of my other videos. I'm gonna start doing this. And when you're looking at the ability power, like the actual damage the monster might do, you want to look for the physical and magical. Reason for that being is when you're usually fighting guilds or you're fighting people or whatsoever, you're going to see a lot more people with higher physical damage than high magic damage. Especially at the very beginning of the game, it is going to happen a lot. Nobody will have any magic defense, but there will be like a crap ton of physical defense on people. It's going to happen a lot. So that magic wind damage can help a lot more than physical. The only things you're going to see with magic defense, you might see mages, more than less you will see mages with magic defense, but you're always going to see clerics with magic defense. If you don't see clerics with magic defense, I don't know what the heck they're doing as a cleric. I really don't. You need high magic defense and magic attack to actually heal better, so they gotta have high magic defense. It's like in their description. Not in their description, but it's in their role to have high magic defense. If they don't have high magic defense, again, I don't know what they're doing. Okay, going from there, Cast Kismet turns those debuffs into buffs for everybody. Heals 10% of their max HP every 5 seconds for 120. This is probably where she will be the most useful. She heals a lot in a very small amount of time for a very huge amount of time. That's probably where she's going to be the most useful, to be fairly honest. She keeps the team alive. She increases stats by 420 seconds by 40%. Increases the Unison gauge. The Unison gauge, it's not going to affect you, Unison. So perhaps you get 100% still. You're getting 100% still. What I think this Unison gauge max thing does is, yes, it does help you increase your gauge by 10, so that way you get a 10 increase cheat sheet. But overall, I think it's supposed to help make sure that if you were to get Unison downed, like maybe cheer would happen, you get Unison down or something decreases your Unison. This is supposed to help help maintain a little more, still being able to Unison quicker than you usually do. So that's what I think the Unison gauge increase is for. And she feels Unison gauge for all allies excluding yourself by 20. This is a double-sided blade because sometimes you might have a full team that can uni, which is more than usually the case than less, or pretty much most of everybody will Unison. So that's a double-sided blade right there. Good ability, but sadly it's not as useful as it could be. You cast Pierce on your character for 60 seconds. This can be helpful depending on the situation, but mostly out of ranked guild battles, it's not going to be as helpful, because usually when you're dealing with barrier, you're dealing with event monsters. You don't really deal with much of monsters you can find anywhere at any time that have barrier, unless you're dealing with like the Colossus. If you're dealing with the Colossus, like at like floor 35 on the Tower of Judgment, this can be helpful. But I'd rather recommend you getting something that casts Piercer on all allies, or at least having multiple Frenzy and Piercer monsters that will cover up for that. With that being said, not worth it. She's a pretty good monster, no doubt of the benefit, but I wouldn't say she's really worth it unless you absolutely have no good monsters. With her gear spawn, I'd say 5 out of every 100 people who do the spawn, at least if they make it to like 5 to 10 times doing the spawn, no, not 5 to 10, but let's say like around 5, roughly 5, a little more than 5, no shorter than 5. I'd say every 5 to 100 people would probably get her from the spawn right here, just the regular gem spawn. She has higher rates now, but they're not much. They're not a significant amount. They're not an amount really even worth looking at. They're an amount noticing, but they're not an amount looking at, because you're probably not going to get her from the spawn still. At least now she's a mythical, but she's still pretty dang hard to pull from this spawn, so you're probably not going to get her from the spawn. It is possible now, but it's very likely not going to happen. Going on from there, Subic Scrolls will have the lowest rates. You might get lucky and get one on your first try. It is very possible, but for the most part, most of us will not get them on our first try, or perhaps throughout spawning. They do offer a pretty balanced amount of medals, an equal amount of medals, and they offer 50 to 200, so it might not take as long to get her, but it still will cost a pretty penny, and there's not much to offer in this medal spawn as well. You can pretty much find the star stuff in almost every treasure spawn that comes out, so it's not really worth it in the first place. That's why I don't really recommend this spawn. It's a pretty decent monster, but it's not worth spawning, to be fairly honest. Especially in a treasure spawn where it's a pay to win spawn. With that being said, I hope this helped out, and I will see you in the next video. I'm going to try to get that Scar video uploaded ASAP. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.